views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey, hello, welcome to Open, the show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and today we're going to update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up, we'll update you in the latest in the world of politics. After that, we're going to sit with the program director of the Children's Art and Sciences Workshop at the Bronx River Community Center, discussing their program. Then, part of the solution, POTS, is an organization nourishing the basic needs and hunger for those in the community. We're going to introduce you to them. And Animal Connection is a website allowing people to connect animal sanctuaries and wildlife refugees. We'll learn a little bit more about them later on in the show. And then afterwards, we'll speak to the founder of Agents of Change Charter School, planning to open in Community School District 10. Then lastly, it's the Bronx. It's a creative space that's going to showcase some of the Bronx-based up-and-coming talent through music, art, and food. And guess what? We've got two muralists here who are going to be in studio discussing their work for the upcoming showcase. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way because right now we're officially open. Hey, hello everyone, I'm Darren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, January 23rd, and you're watching Open, a live program that is bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to encourage you to watch with our viewers on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is now being broadcast live simultaneously on MNN's channel. You can stay connected to us via Twitter at BronxNet TV and on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has certainly been going on through the past week. We're going to take you through it right now with some Bronx updates. Well, as the government shutdown reaches the month-mile marker, one Bronx lawmaker is taking action. Councilman Richie Torres presented a $25,000 check to open a food pantry in Morrisania, assisting furloughed workers affected by the shutdown. City officials estimate about 50,000 New Yorkers are directly affected in what has become the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The pantry is located at 488 East 164th Street. Now, if you've been affected by the shutdown and need assistance, you're encouraged to call or visit nyc.gov or call 311 for additional resources and information. Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. is taking on the MTA. The BP is advocating that New York City take over city control of the MTA, or I should say over MTA control. A rally was held with local advocates at the 149th Street and Grand Concourse Station, demanding a rollback of the proposed fare hikes. Diaz says, quote, "We're out here to tell the MTA that we're against fare hikes because we don't want to pay more for less." The New York City Transit Authority was placed under the control of the state-level MTA in 1968. The board is expected to discuss and vote on plans a little later this month. Well, in other news, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the MTA, Empire State Development, and Amtrak have reached an agreement to build 4 new Metro North stations, taking commuters from Penn Station right here to the Bronx. The 4 new stations include Hunts Point, Park Chester, Van Ness, Morris Park, and Co-op City. Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. released a statement yesterday saying, quote, "Amtrak's willingness to negotiate with the MTA will put the East Bronx Metro North expansion back on schedule and bring us one step closer to expanded commuter rail options in the communities that need them the most." Well, that's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. After this, we'll have more Open coming up in a few.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me. the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
And welcome back. It's been officially 1 month since the government has shut down. What does it actually mean for New York and the city? Well, and also yesterday, the legislature passed the Reproductive Health Act, which confided Roe versus Wade into state law. On February 13th, the New York State Legislature is holding a hearing statewide on sexual harassment in the workplace. And here now discussing this and much more is Michael Benjamin, Associate Editorial Page Editor of the New York Post. And Mike, good to have you.
Good to be on, Darren. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Listen, let's get right at it. First of all, federal shutdown, we are at a month right now. Now, we do understand that lawmakers in the Senate have made some proposals, and this possibly could be coming to an end shortly. Bring us up to speed to where we are right now.
Well, what we understand is that there's a proposal to, there are two proposals that are out there. One would be to fund the president's wall, reopen government. A second proposal bill would be to temporarily reopen government so that the president can deliver his State of the Union address, in Congress, I think the 29th of this month. And then I guess they'll continue negotiating on the wall and some sort of payment, some sort of deal with the president. The president, as you know, on Saturday offered Democrats what they've been looking for, which is, legalizing the DACA kids, the Dreamers. Restoring or making permanent the temporary protected status for Haitians and other immigrants around the world who, were either recovering from if the Haitians were recovering from the earthquake flooding in Haiti, and others who would undergo humanitarian and other kinds of disasters would give them protected status to be in the United States for a while, and then many have stayed, and the president has threatened to remove that status and send them all back home. That was problematic. I thought Senator Schumer had a good response when he said the president is negotiating, he's hostage taking, because he had threatened, not to make DACA permanent. He had threatened to remove temporary protected status, and now he wants to put that on the table as a deal for his wall funding. And in the minds of Senator Schumer and other Democrats, that's not the way you bargain. You don't take a hostage and then say, all right, I'm bargaining in good faith.
Right. Let me jump in here and say this. When we talk about funding the wall, I think some of Americans have gotten a misnomer that there was originally some funding that was already put out there for the wall. It's not that we're starting at zero. There's some funding, but the president wants more.
That's correct. And there are already several installments of a wall over the last 10, 15, 20 years There have been walls that are fences, that are wired, and other kinds of electronic barriers that are already in place. But the president wants to fulfill his campaign promise to build a great, big, beautiful concrete wall, right? And that's what we're dealing with. I mean, and the fact is, when he had a Republican-controlled Congress and a White House, they still couldn't get the funding. He didn't make it a priority. So he's just looking to appease a tiny fraction of his base, and he's hurting American workers, federal workers, and then it's having a ripple effect on the U.S. economy. And he's not seeming to understand. I mean, it's shameful what's going on. If I were in Congress, I would really have a hard time, seeing federal workers and their families going without pay. I would really be pushing leadership for some sort of a compromise with the president to get these people back to work, because it's unfair to them, and their lives should not be, political pawns. I remember when I was in the assembly, when we didn't pass the state budget because we had to disagree with the governor, our pay would be withheld. That's fine, because that's our individual decision. We weren't affecting state workers.
Right, but I think also the hypocrisy is that you have the government shut down, but then you have the Martin Luther King holiday. You've got the president traveling to the Martin Luther King Monument, and the Martin Luther King Monument is actually being staffed, courtesy sponsorship by an airline. And so a lot of people felt like that's a direct slap in the face in the first place.
Yeah, I would agree. It was bad optics all the way around, considering the president and the vice president had no MLK event on their schedule until they hurriedly made an appearance there and then left. This is really a government that really can't shoot straight. They can't get it. They're unable to get its act together. I mean, they haven't had a White House press briefing in almost 2 months because they're afraid of tough questioning from reporters.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And, of course, we'll continue to monitor the crazy coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue every week here on Open. Want to go right down to the state legislature. Let's talk about the legislation, Roe v. Wade, and that historic vote taking place yesterday. One of the things that we actually knew would be at the top of the food chain, if you will, amongst Democrats in both the state and the assembly.
That's correct. It's a bill the assembly had been passing for several years already. And the Senate has not been taking it up because Senate Republicans were opposed to elements of it. What the bill really does is it decriminalizes abortion, took abortion out of the criminal code, and now makes the right to an abortion in the health code. But it also allows persons who aren't physicians to actually participate in abortion, and that was the objection that many Republicans in the Senate and in the Assembly had to the bill. But abortion has been legal in New York since the early 1970s. It's not under threat. Anything the president would do or the Supreme Court would do would not affect abortion in New York State. So a woman's right to choose an abortion in New York State would be unaffected by anything that would happen on the federal level. It was a campaign issue for Democrats, and give them credit for fulfilling that campaign issue. But a woman's right to an abortion and to choose for herself was never going to be under threat in New York State.
We'll bring you to a story that we had in the A section of our show, talking about Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. speaking specifically about the MTA, talking about the MTA should be under city control. Your thoughts? You agree, disagree with the borough president's call for?
I disagree with it. I disagreed when it was a call originally by Speaker Corey Johnson of the City Council that New York City retake control of the subways in New York, subways and buses in New York. As you know, City gave it up in the 70s during the fiscal crisis. It was a smart thing to do, and it should remain, I think, under the MTA. If you look at me, my concern is that this is the same city that seems not able to get its act together to properly educate the children of the city of New York. It's the same city that's unable to get a handle on the homeless crisis and the affordability crisis for housing. I'm not sure if I really want to put the subways in the hands of Bill de Blasio and his successor and Corey Johnson and the city council. It's not something I would want. I think New Yorkers ought to have second and third thoughts about.
Yeah. Talk to me about what's coming up as you look into your calendar. What can we see that we should be keeping our eyes on coming up?
Well, I think New Yorkers should be looking at February 13th, about a little under a month from now, when the state legislature is going to hold joint Senate and Assembly hearings on sexual harassment in the workplace across New York State. It's one hearing for now that's going to be in Albany, and they're going to look at sexual harassment issues in New York State. Part of the pressure was for the legislature to look at sexual harassment in the workplace in Albany and in the legislature. And, we recently editorialized today, or I believe yesterday, that it was the wrong move to make. They ought to look at themselves first and also look at the rest of the state and maybe even have multiple. They definitely should have multiple hearings across the state to hear from people around the state about other issues involving workplace sexual harassment. It's good for New York to look at that. It's good for women to be able to talk about what has happened and to propose, responsible, workplace rules and even penalties for those workplaces and individuals who violate a woman's ability to safely work and do her job in her workplace.
Well, Mike, of course, we got a lot to talk about. Certainly, we'll be paying attention towards February 13th as we continue to cover some of these hot button issues that really that are local as well as national. Thank you, Michael Benjamin, Associate Editorial Page Editor for the New York Post, our guest here and also a contributor here on Open. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Always a pleasure, Darren. Thank you.
All right, take it easy. All right, listen, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with some more Open. Stay with us. We've got a great show still ahead in a few.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And we are back. Children's Arts and Science Workshops at the Bronx River Community Center provides young people an environment to nurture their leadership skills, as well as foster some positive attitudes for the future. And here now to give us more details is Tomas Ramos, who is the program director for Children's Art and Science Workshops. And tell us a little bit about this here.
Let me break down the community center for first and foremost. So this community center is located inside of a NYCHA development. A lot of folks don't know that NYCHA has these kinds of facilities. So we're talking about residents, close to 5,000 to 6,000 residents living in a community where there's a community center where they have access to resources and whatnot. So when I came in, started working at the Bronx River Community Center, I saw an opportunity to leverage resources and actually make an impact and enhance a community, especially the most at-risk, vulnerable population. So just that's a background on that particular community center. And also, Bronx River, if you're not familiar, is a birthplace of hip-hop with Africa Bambaataa. So one of the first things in my agenda was to create a music studio so we can engage the young people and get them back into the groove of learning the history of hip-hop and where it originated, and just the foundation of what it is. So right now we're teaching our young people how to produce, how to engineer, and actually, create an album from scratch. So that's some of the things that we have going on right now.
What are we hearing and what are you getting? Because as you're acclimating them to hip hop, it's more than just hip hop. It's about culture, it's about way of life. But what are we hearing from the hearts and minds of young people these days?
Well, the main concern is, for me in particular, is young people are not as engaged as they used to. So how we're going to entice our young people to come to the community center? We got to offer them something that we'll get them to come. So basketball obviously is key. And then hip hop and recording studio. Everybody thinks they're a rapper, so why not create, a facility, create a space where young people can come and learn how to actually engineer and produce it. That's the start of creating any kind of hip hop, album and whatnot.
You spoke about basketball, so I asked you a question off camera. I said, how many people say you look like Tony Parker?
I get it all the time. I've been getting it for a while now. I've used it to my advantage for sure.
Go ahead, Tony. All right. Well, let me talk about youth leadership. Obviously, young people are not just leaders for tomorrow, they're for today.
Mm-hmm.
You have a youth leadership program. Walk us through what these students go through and what these young people experience.
So I mentor high school kids, young people right now. And what I focus on is civic engagement, financial literacy, and the way I outline my programming, I teach it first, and then I have them teach it back to the other peers. So that's teaching them leadership, and also they obviously need to learn the content that I'm bringing out.
And how long does the program last for?
It's the full school year.
Okay.
Yeah. So once a week, I meet with them for an hour and a half every week, even on holidays, for September all the way to June.
What about the buy-in? Talk about the buy-in on the part of them.
We got to entice them. I give them gift cards. I bring them food every single session. And also I take them on trips once a month. Yeah.
That's great. So you got some things coming up in the future, of course.
Yes. So one of my main focuses, financial literacy and civic engagement. Financial literacy, they don't teach it in schools. But I kind of wanted to strategize and do a more clever, holistic approach. So what I actually do is with my after-school program, I installed it where they're actually learning financial literacy on a daily basis, because you can do workshops, but we're using finances on a daily basis. So how can they use them and use finance on that daily basis without actually knowing what they're doing? So what I implemented sort of was like a monopoly board. So each group, they choose, the Pacific Avenue, Boardwalk. And now if they want to use a gym, they got to pay a monthly membership fee to use a gym. They all have jobs. They make $100 bucks a week. And if they want to use a gym, they have to save 2 weeks worth of pay because the membership is $200. So we're teaching them savings, teaching them what it is to actually earn money while they work. And obviously, if they don't work, they're not going to earn the money as well. So we do that year round as well, every single day. If they save up enough money, we have iPads. We have sneakers, basketballs, so the young people can actually save 2-3 months worth of money and can purchase an iPad. And doing it at a young age and doing it in that approach, I feel like it's going to make a difference in the long run.
So somebody's out there watching, they're saying, listen, this is a great program. I might want my young person to be a part and attached to it. What do they do?
So we do have a website, caswkids.org. I'm working on one specifically for the Bronx River Community Center. And where you can enter your information, and I can reach out. But all the services that we offer are free. But I'm huge in community partnerships. So if there's other organizations that do want to partner up with me and do want to get involved, I encourage to reach out to me, because I'm always looking for more resources. And that's the only way we can continue doing what we do, because our funding is not the best,
Well, we hope it gets better.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and continue great work. And as we said, if you're interested now in being a part, you saw the information at the bottom of the screen. Don't hesitate to give a call and see. And you never know. It just might make a difference in your life. Taking a quick break. We've got more open. Stay with us. We're coming right back in a few.
Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom, and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
And we are back. Part of the Solutions, better known with the acronym POTS, is an organization providing a wide array of support services for individuals living in poverty right here in our borough. And joining us now is Alicia Guevara, and she is the executive director of POTS. And we thank you for joining us. I need to make sure I get the name right.
You got it. You got it.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, good. Well, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So we're introducing the Bronx to POTS. Some people already know about it, but please let people know a little bit about the POTS organization.
Sure. The mission of POTS is to be a loving community in the Bronx that nourishes the basic needs and hungers of all who come through our doors, both people who come to serve and also people who are there to be served, right? So our goal is to support people and help people who are living in poverty to move from crisis to stability to self-sufficiency. And how do we do it? We're a one-stop shop. Navigating the challenges of life can be difficult for any of us. But at POTS, everything happens under that one roof. Every day, from 12:30 to 3:30, we serve hundreds of people a warm meal in a restaurant-style environment, our community dining room. We also have a food pantry. But we don't just serve people food. We don't just provide meals. We clothe people. We offer them showers where they can cleanse themselves in a warm and safe environment. We offer over 1,200 people a year a mailbox so that they have an address, particularly people who are chronically homeless. We provide dental services, medical services, a plethora of services, and it doesn't end there because what we know is as people's needs evolve, so too does the need for support. And so we have a very strong case management team that helps our clients to access benefits, particularly food benefits.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to ask you, and particularly when it comes to poverty and homelessness right here in our borough, what is it that maybe Bronx residents, maybe the wider population does not really recognize about how desperate, how challenging a need it is for you right now?
So POTS is located in the Fort and Bedford section. And I think that historically when people think of poverty in the Bronx, they think of particular pockets of the Bronx. Well, let me tell you, there's a need in the Fort and Bedford section too. And sometimes that need goes unseen. We're seeing a tremendous surge of people who are seeking food benefits because food security is critically important. The Bronx is booming with industry, and I'm really excited as a Bronx native and proud as a Bronx native to say that. But as the borough booms with industry, so too is it important for us to develop the skill sets, the workforce skill sets of the very people who live in the community so they can participate. POTS is on it. We want to make sure that the people who come through our doors are also skilled, ready, prepared, able to be part of the workforce.
So talk to me about growth. Obviously, it's a big thing for you, and it's an expansion because there are so many needs, and the needs continue to grow. Give us a little bit about where you see the organization growing and how it'll have a greater reach, particularly with this population of people.
Sure. POTS was founded in 1982 as a small soup kitchen, and over the past 30-plus years, we've grown tremendously. But what we know is as the needs of our clients evolve, so too does the need for us to provide more. Annually, we serve 30,000 people at POTS, 9,000 of which are children. But growth is on the horizon. And so we are looking to demolish a building that we own right adjacent to the one we're currently occupying. And we're going to blow it up into a state-of-the-art facility that provides workforce development training, that helps people get employed, and does more around case management. Because most people just need a guide, someone that's going to help them navigate the resources that are available to them. And we're ready to do more. And Darren, we don't do this work alone. We do it in partnership with our funders, our supporters, and we do it in partnership with our volunteers. hundreds and hundreds of volunteers come through the doors of POTS each and every day. And we need more because there's much more to be done.
Yeah. For you, I know it's personal because this is the community to which you grew up in. So give me a little bit about letting it be the community that you grew up in and seeing the urgent need right now.
This is deeply personal for me. I grew up on Marion Avenue and Fordham Road, 188th Street, and we'll claim it all day. And have dedicated my life to being in service of others and have a career of being a leader in the public sector. And so metaphorically, I always felt like I was giving back. But now I get to give back to the streets that raised me. I am working in the same community where I came up during my most formative years. So this is deeply, deeply personal. I can still see my building and my block when I walk to work every day. So, my commitment and that the commitment of others who are at POTS, who are about POTS, who are working for POTS is deep and is lasting.
Yeah. Before we go, please, if somebody's out there, they say, listen, I want to volunteer, help, offer my skill set, what do they do?
Come visit us. We're at 2759 Webster Avenue. That's one. Or two, visit our website. It's www.potsbronx.org.
All right.
Doors are open.
Well, thank you, Alicia, for coming and being
It's
with
been
us.
a pleasure, Darren.
Pleasure having you. All right, listen, gotta take another break. Be back, got more open. Stay with us, we'll come right back right after this.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
And thank you for staying with us. Animal Connection is a resource for those who are interested in volunteering in animal sanctuaries, as well as some wildlife refuges. And here now to tell us a little bit more is the founder of Animal Connection, Rachel Borkowski. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Good
This
to
is
have
amazing.
you. It's amazing.
This is better than CNN.
Thank you so much.
Of
You just
course.
made my
Yeah,
day.
it is.
I'm be cool.
Because we're real here.
Thank you. We are really.
Yeah, I love that.
So talk to us a little about real, because animals are real.
Right, exactly.
And every one of us has connections in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so give us a little bit about Animal Connections.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just start like a little bit from the beginning. I worked at a goat dairy farm in Israel, and basically at the time, like I loved animals and didn't realize that the animals were being exploited for their bodies. The male goats were killed, and the female goats lived and used for their milk. So because of that, that was from an online platform where you can find live-work opportunities to work with animals, but there was nothing where you can work with animals where they're safe.
Right.
So that's why I created a website where you can work at animal sanctuaries in exchange for food and shelter. So the animals are essentially rescued from cruelty and neglect, and they live in sanctuaries. They live in their lives in peace on sanctuaries. And you can live there in exchange for food and shelter, or you can just go tour. So it's basically just a platform that connects you to those places as well as wildlife refugees internationally. And I do local events where I charter a bus from the city and I bring people to sanctuaries upstate to meet pigs, cows, chickens, ducks, and just kind of get that experience, animal connection.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback do you get? Because initially, when you talk about dealing with an animal, we have a
Yeah.
certain perception, and then you understand about cruelty, you understand
Yeah.
about abuse. What kind of reception do you get when you start introducing people to this?
Well, it's funny because people are honestly usually just all about it. You know, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, what I'm offering is just an opportunity for people to just connect with animals and, like, connect with cows who are very similar to your household dogs, but it's just something that people haven't experienced before, like, and really, like, another part of it is just to make the connection from, like, what's on your plate to who the animals are. So it's like, and giving you that option, because our entire lives we're just fed, like, metaphorically and literally, like, we're just like, okay, this is how you eat, this is like what's right in the way to eat, and I'm just essentially like presenting an opportunity for people to just kind of make a decision for themselves. Like, you meet the animals and you're able to just be like, wow, like, this is who the animals are and this is what's going on, which is obviously just a different perspective, like, from people in the city.
So when you talk about taking them out to an animal sanctuary, where are animal sanctuaries located? I mean, we hear a lot, but we don't. I mean, for the average viewer, they don't know where an animal sanctuary is located.
There's a ton upstate. There's a few, like, offhand. There's one in Montauk, New Jersey, Saugerties, New York, High Falls, New York. There's like 5 or 6 right upstate, 2 hours outside the city that you wouldn't even know. And then also the difference is, you know, I know a lot of people enjoy, like, the Bronx Zoo, but what they do is they actually capture the animals from the wild and put them behind bars, whereas for the public viewing, whereas these places save the animals from cruelty and let them live their lives in freedom and let people learn in that way about the animals. So that's kind of the difference.
I mean, that's unique in itself because you
Yeah.
I never thought about it until you just
Yeah,
actually mentioned it.
thank you. Yeah.
So for people who want to do this, I mean, talk to me about if they want to come, take a visit to an animal
Yeah,
sanctuary.
so we have essentially, for people that don't drive, we provide a bus. We charter a bus from the city, or if you have a car, you can just meet us at the sanctuary. We're doing an event February 23rd. You can just go to www.animalconnection.info/upcoming-events.
And what about kids?
Kids, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Love kids.
So when we talk about reaction, obviously, you know, animal sanctuaries, you said, for farm animals, pigs, cows, goats, turkeys,
Right.
animals that are actually saved from slaughter.
Right,
You feel like
right.
very much your personal experience that first time in being there really opened your eyes to this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, when I became vegan, I just started learning more, and it's definitely like a process, and it took a while and everything, but the main thing is that I just think that people have just like, people have a gap between each other because they don't know each other, and that's the same thing that I think about people and animals. It's like people love dogs, people love cats, and in China, they'll eat dogs and cats. So it's like, you know, but we love them. So it's like we are eating cows and pigs, but it's like if we can just meet them, then I'm hoping that could foster a positive change and also, you know, help people heal in different ways as well.
And you know the thing, I'm sitting here thinking, like, you know, so many people have not made that connection, you know,
Animal connection.
and I mean, it's a large connection to make, but I
Right.
mean, but for those who love animals, obviously,
Yeah.
it's a very real connection.
Yeah.
So what do people do to get in touch with you, be a part?
Call me.
Call
me, beat me.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, they can email me, rachel@animalconnection.info, website, Instagram. I'm like very easy to get in touch with. So.
All right, well, we'll make sure we get you connected. Rachel Borkowski is the founder of Animal Connection. If you want to take a trip to an animal sanctuary or you want to find out more, we encourage you to contact Rachel. And certainly, I'm sure
Thank
that
you.
you'll lead, guide, and direct them. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Rachel Borkowski, our guest here. Stay here, don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Nope, you don't go anywhere,
Oh, okay.
and you don't go anywhere. We have to
Don't
take a quick break.
move.
We'll be right back with more
Okay.
shows. Stay with us in a minute.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
think getting dumped by text is harsh. Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Well, thank you for staying with us. Agents of Change Charter School's mission is to cultivate students who can bring change to their community by developing competencies for success through project-based learning, social emotional learning, and athletics. And joining us now to tell us a little bit more with details is Nadia Hernandez, who's the founder of Agents of Change Charter School. And welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. Yeah, so you founded the school.
Yes, it was my vision, my crazy idea.
Yeah, but crazy is about to become a reality.
Yes,
and
yes.
So for people who want to know about Agents of Change Charter School, it was a vision. And what was your vision?
Well, my vision is to have a school where children want to come in.
Right.
They want to come in and learn and use their passion as a guide to get them to learning that they need in order to succeed not only in college, but also if they want to pursue a career, carpentry, mechanics, or sports.
And your vision is a bit closer to a reality because
Yes.
you're right on the cusp of really getting there and doing it. And so this is going to be a new charter school, and it's going to be servicing grades K through 5, right?
Yes, K through 5. The first year is going to be kindergarten and first grade. And we're targeting the School Community District 10, but more specifically the Fordham, Bedford, or Norwood neighborhood. Within the Bronx. We know that this area specifically does not have a lot of elementary charter schools, and a lot of our kids in this neighborhood are commuting to the South Bronx in order to get better quality education.
So what would be the difference in a child attending your school in terms of if you had to if a parent comes and I come with my son and say, listen, I'm thinking about your school, what would you tell me is the difference maker for me to make that decision?
Well, first of all, the way that we're going to teach is through projects. So we're going to, which is why important the community that we pick. We're going to partner with community businesses and community organizations to see what their needs are. So for example, if one of the needs is that they want help in creating an idea or concept for how to improve their playground, our kids are going to develop projects to support that community so that the kid's idea could be developed into what helps that playground get better.
I want to tell you, if you're in the Fordham, Bedford, or Norwood section of the Bronx, this is the segment you really need to listen up to, as Nadia's talking about this new charter school that's making its way. And we said it's going to be grades K through 5. You're starting off with K first, right?
Yes, K and first grade.
Okay, and so you talk a little bit about project-based learning. I want to get to the part about social emotional learning because that's a big challenge that I think a lot of students have. Presently within the school system. How are you looking to address that, and how can you make a difference?
Well, we're going to focus on teaching the children, first of all, to identify what their emotions are. If you don't know what it is to feel angry, or you don't have the vocabulary to say I'm happy or I'm sad, they're not going to be able to know how to address those emotions when they come up. So one of the first things is to teach them how to first identify what it is that you feel, and then know how to work through it. When you're angry, what do you do? What are appropriate ways to deal with anger? How do you deal with teamwork also? Because again, part of project-based learning is that you're working with teams. And in order for you to be able to solve those challenges, you need to know how you feel within that team, how you fit in the team, and then be able to identify skills and positive strategies to be able to solve whatever issues come up within those projects.
Mm-hmm. And we know the Bronx is known for being, the worst part about us is number 62 when it comes to health. But obviously, you have a strong focus on nutrition that you want to deal with.
Yes. Through our athletics program, we're going to teach our children to learn how to eat properly, how to use fitness and sports to address some of those obesity concerns that are happening in the Bronx, as well as learn what are healthy habits, not just in eating, but also in our daily life. You know, that you need 8 hours of sleep so that you can wake up refreshed and ready to engage in your daily activity for the next day.
So if you live in the Fordham, Bedford, or Norwood section of the Bronx, I want to let you know Agent of Change Charter School is coming your way, and it's a school that is going to be has some real specificities to it. And Nadia's been talking a little bit about it. And once you know, the school is slated to open in September. You're looking for September 2020.
Yes.
So what happens now? Because you're in the process. It's 2019, a long time between now and then. And I know you need public participation. I know you need public buy-in, if you will, to deal with that. So let's talk about what the public can expect and what you need from the public as well.
Yes. Well, you're going to probably see us in the neighborhood. We're going to be reaching out to the neighborhood, trying to plan events in the area so that parents, community members, businesses can reach out to us. They could also go into our website, www.agentsofchangecs.org, and fill out an inquiry form. And that way they'll let us know that you are willing to find out more about our school. We'll reach out to you personally and then see what your needs are and see if we can meet them. Through this process also, we need to take in their comments, and if we need to modify anything to fit the community needs, again, we'll do so through this process.
So I want to let you know that Nadia's been working hand and foot to really see Agent of Change Charter School become a reality. What is it like for you? Because obviously, you said, we started off the segment, you said this was a vision, right?
Yes.
And now you got to the place where you're really almost at the door, 2020. You're already here, actually, but 2020 is right around the corner. What's it like for you to go from vision to reality?
It's unreal. Seeing the support of the people that I'm working with and also the community, the people that we reach out in the community, it's amazing to see that they really want this, that they need their kids to be happy when they wake up in the morning and say, I want to go to school, I want to learn some more about this. It's incredible.
Push out a little bit more with me on this one, because you talk about community response, because you've had a lot of community responses. What have you been hearing? I mean, I know you shared a little bit.
So far we've been hearing that it's something that they want. They want more schools that their kids are engaged, that they're learning high quality, and something that is not only towards college. A lot of schools only focus on preparing their kids to college, but the reality is not every child is made for college. Some of us want to go to some other industries, carpentry, mechanics, and other things that doesn't necessarily need a college degree. And a lot of schools are so stressed about states, tests, and all these other performance things that are doing that some of these kids are dropping out of high schools. You know, they don't want to finish college or high school or school overall. It's very stressful for them. So for them to see that there's possibility of a school that is going to open up and their kids are going to want to go in, change their community, and learn and want to learn, which is the key, it's really happy. It makes me feel happy to see that they're willing and open to accept that.
Well, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Nadia, and she is the founder of Agents of Change Charter School. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, as we said, we want to let you know now, if you live in the Fordham, Bedford, or Norwood sections of the Bronx, Agent of Change will be putting out that public information for you to be a part. Of course, the school begins with the first class, which is going to be the kindergarten class, and it's going to be the slow ladder up, then K, 1, then 2 to 3, all the way up to the 5th grade, but first year kindergarten. So if you have an interest, please make sure you contact Nadia, let her know. And we're going to be back because we got more show. Taking a quick break. We'll be back with more Open in a few.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us. Invest in us. Watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
And definitely want to thank you for staying with us. Well, we want to let you know It's the Bronx. It's an event that's designed to showcase some of the best of our borough in music, art, and food, as well as drink. And guess what? We got two muralists for the event, Natalie Lucre and Maria Obin, who are going to be here. And they're here with us in studio. They're going to be at It's the Bronx. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you. So you guys are muralists?
Yes.
So talk to us first about your being a muralist and the kind of work that you do.
Okay, so I'll start.
Yep.
So it all started in my own bedroom where I decided to paint my room into a chalkboard. So I believe it's like 10 by 10. And I just started, because I wanted to do something bigger than just hand drawings, you know,
Right.
the regular size. And I just started doing chalk murals. And then now I'm doing painting murals in bigger places.
And for yourself?
It started for me with festivals. I would paint live at festivals in large scale, and I realized how much I loved it, and I just decided to break out my own commission with my website, and ever since then I've been painting murals.
So now you're painting murals, and now you're painting murals here in the borough of the Bronx for It's the Bronx. First of all, what's it like for you to be a part of the event?
It means a lot for me because most of my murals are in every other borough except for the Bronx, so it's really good to bring it home and say that I laid paint down here in the BX.
Same. This is an amazing opportunity because I never really was part of the community of the Bronx. I've moved here since 2004, but I always looked for work outside of the Bronx. So doing this mural for the Bronx, it's a great opportunity.
I want to let you know at the showcase, you're going to have an opportunity to see a whole variety of different things. And I know there's going to be 2 different floors. And so walk us through where people are going to be able to see when they come to the exhibition on 2 floors.
Okay, so on the first floor, once you enter, you're going to see the mural, which is like the main mural. Well, not that yours is not main, but they're both main.
Right.
But mine says "Welcome to the Bronx." It's like an welcoming entrance,
Right.
and then hers is on the 7th floor.
Yeah, when you walk up, it's breathtaking views of, you can see Manhattan and the city, the water, it's really pretty. And then, of course, you have the breathtaking view of my mural, which also says, "Welcome to the Bronx." It's kind of a nod to the billboard when you drive in here.
Right.
And it has the silhouette of musicians, just because I think some of the most famous people from the Bronx are musicians, so I wanted to represent that. And they are on top of a building because we're known for our architecture, so I wanted to represent that.
Oh, so as muralists, right, I guess, you know, what's that community like? Because, you know, we hear, we see people who are muralists, but amongst each other, how much do you guys stay in contact, know each other, stay connected? Is it, I mean...
Well, we just met and
Yeah.
we're already texting each other nonstop. I think, yeah, it's very important for artists to create a community for each other so that way we can let each other know about events and things that they can sign up for and just supporting each other.
Does it feel good? I mean, having somebody that you can actually connect with, you knows.
Yes, like when I heard about the announcement of, hey, we're doing murals, I immediately like kind of looked for her through her email on Instagram, and then I went, hey, so this is like my first big mural. Can you help me? And you know, it's. I was just talking to her about how it's difficult to get free help,
right?
Because people, they want to be like, you know, kind of keep them to themselves. So I asked her, and she gave me all the information, like hands down. And I went, thank you so much. So I really appreciate this lady right here.
Yeah, yeah. And so obviously, you know, you have muralists, this event. What do you see happening in the future? I mean, this is actually a showcase, right? And so after you have this showcase, where do you see things expanding and going for both of yourselves?
Personally, a big goal for me is to paint outside of the country. A lot of my favorite muralists on Instagram travel the world doing what they love, and that's a big goal for me.
Same, yeah. Like, we're starting in our city first, expanding to the 5 boroughs, and then states, countries, and then from there, just like let people know where we come from.
It's often intrigued me to ask the question, where do you get your inspiration from? I mean, to do one and to do one of great magnitude, there's great inspiration that comes. Where do you get your inspiration from?
I think for me personally, a lot of my inspiration comes from other artists. And I think it's important for us to study each other so that way we can know not only where we're coming from, but also where we're headed.
Same. Well, I get my inspirations just from the Bronx, first of all, now. My parents and my boyfriend. They just, like, when I look at them, it's a reminder of why, like, the ideas come,
So stay tuned, because we want you to know these young ladies have some very special things coming up at It's the Bronx, and want to let you know that is going to be taking place, and it's January 26th, and also we want to let you know that there's going to be a live audience on January 26th, and the top chosen artists will also have a chance at some career-changing packages, and it's the Bronx Brewery. Let me say it again, Bronx Brewery. Try doing that and saying that like 3 times. Don't judge me. It's hard, okay? Saturday, January 26th from 12 to 8, 856 East 136th Street, and you can come out and be a part. I'm sure you'll see these 2 lovely ladies there showcasing their work, and congratulations. Yep, that's what you got to do it, right? Keep the Bronx strong, and best wishes. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
Pleasure.
stay connected. All right. Listen, want to let you know that we've come to the end of our show today. Want to thank all of our guests for joining us, but most of all, I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you definitely can catch the Recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum's Channel 67. If you have Verizon Fios, we're on 33 or on the web at bronxnet.org. Also want to give a special shout out to all those who watch on MNN live simultaneously, as Open is broadcast live simultaneously Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And a big shout out to my sister Ann. I know she watches, and a whole lot of other people. So you got to keep the family. You know, you gave props to them. You got to give props to the family. All right. Well, that about wraps it up. Us here on the set of Open. I'm Darren Hyman saying, listen, make sure to keep this channel wide open. Rena Valentine will be here with a brand new episode on Friday. But until then, take care and God bless.